It's more spacious. I'm genuinely surprised how well it went. Hello everyone, welcome back to my studio Warsaw, Poland, to my humble YouTube channel. My name is Paul and good to see you again, guys. The shot for today is a bit different. I used a different lens and a different camera because the main camera today is actually here pointing at this. What is this? This is my new 500 format stereo strip that I'm gonna show it to you. Yes, I went 500 in this studio, full analog. And I'm gonna show you today why I bought it, what can I do with it, because probably it's not really what you think it is. And also I'm gonna compare it against some plugins so that you know and I know whether this analog madness or simply analog choice is really any better than plugin world. Let's find out. Of course, if you think this channel is a cool place, if you like my studio and my videos, please consider subscribing somewhere here down in the corner, getting notified, liking this vid, commenting on it down below so that I know what you think about my new purchase. Is it any better than plugins? Do you yourself use 500 format modules? What do you do with them? And what are these in your rack? Let's go. Okay, my people, here comes my 500. Let's turn it on and let's present the modules I'm having. SSL Ultraviolet Stereo EQ, IGS Rubber Bands Mastering or Stereo version, Elysia Karacter Stereo version, IGS S-Type, which is supposed to emulate SSL G-Bus compression, and then Lindell audio, which is a super fast fat compression, which I use a lot on drums and bass. Actually, all my drums and basses use fat compression. That's my style of work. Anyway, my friends, that's my strip. And I told you that it's not what you think. First of all, because it can serve both mixing and mastering purposes. I got every module in stereo. Elysia 500 is supposed to do mastering, but who said only mastering? Same for IGS rubber bands. Of course, bus compressor is a typical bus or mastering compressor, but fat compression 1176 style is nothing like mastering, right? And actually here comes a secret hidden down below or behind the rack. Actually, I decided to split my signal a bit because the signal flow is we're going into the SSL, then from SSL we're going to IGS, from IGS we're going to Karacter, and here my signal splits. I'm using Y XLR cables so that Karacter leaves into two places. The first one is IGS S-Type and the second one is Lindell. So it's like a parallel signal split, and then I can go back to my DAW and record bus compression after the whole chain or 1176 compression if I choose. Also my RME routing, RME interface routing helps with that a lot. And if I don't feel like mastering but mixing, then I'm gonna end this chain, this strip with fat compression. So it is both mixing and mastering, and it's sort of a cool thing that I came up with this idea. And now when splitting your signal into two, you're not gonna degrade your signal. Your THD plus and your signal to noise ratio is not gonna get worse. You're gonna get just a couple of dB, exactly 3 dB lower signal. That's it, because, well, the power of the signal is gonna drop. So you're gonna just get less decibels of the signal, but your signal is gonna maintain quality, actually. And guys, that's it. That's the shortest description of the strip. And here comes our session for today. And I decided to take a track that I did 3 years ago, and I actually like this track very much. And let's say we are doing mastering-like duties for this strip today, because I don't want to make it painfully long, like drums, bass, and all the rest being put through this strip. Let's do mastering kind of job on this. And here comes the original master done 3 years ago. Yeah, that's it. I decided to play you a longer part of this track, a longer piece, because sometimes my public, I hear it in the comments that you don't really know how to make music. You're just talking. Guys, it's an interesting topic, why I don't make enough music, as much music as I would like to, and I promise you a video about it. But I believe I can say, both in terms of writing music, arranging music, producing music, mixing and mastering music, I do have something to say. I'm surely not the best of the best in any terms, but I do have my word in the music world. I'm gonna make a video about it. So this is my master. I'm pretty satisfied with it. I would not change much in this track generally after 3 years. And then comes rough mix. Actually, I don't need this track. I'm gonna remove it. And what's really interesting for us is hidden here, because I'm gonna do 500 remaster of this track using just this strip. And then I'm gonna repeat this master using corresponding plugins that apparently I have, or I demoed them for the purposes of this video. And we're gonna start with the 500 remaster. Just let me route the signal. I'm gonna send it to my 500 rack, and then we're gonna get back to my DAW from 500 fat, and then we're gonna actually switch to S-Type, or so bus compression, and we're gonna finish there our journey, let's say. And my friends, actually I should do it a bit different. I should send it here. Yes, my friends, and now we are ready to start working. Let me just put everything ultraviolet into bypass. This needs to be bypass, and this needs to be bypass. Okay, guys, let's hear it now. Let's zero everything on our EQ here. Yeah, let's say this is zeroed, and let's have a look. And I'm gonna tell you this, I tweaked all this thing already, and I'm not a fan of violet or ultraviolet high and low shelf. They are not too powerful, they are not too tasty, they are sort of technical in sound. And that's why I'm gonna use it only in the mids, lower and higher mids, and I'm gonna tweak my low and high end using rubber bands, which is a transformer version of a classic passive Pultec like EQ, no tubes, just transformers. But you're gonna hear it soon what it can do. Anyway, let's leave low and high end and let's tweak the mids, because I think we can add up this and that. Yeah, somewhere around 350, 400, I decided to add some flavor because the mix is a bit hollow there. I think I cut too much from bass and drums, trying to preserve clarity, but it was probably quite too much. And what about high mids? Yeah, the signal is already a bit louder, but the curve, the tone, the character of it is really cool. I like it. The mix is a bit lacking in these two frequencies, and ultraviolet takes me there. I mean, it sounds very technical. It sounds very, I don't know even if clean is the word. It just sounds technical. But I'm fine with it. And now comes IGS rubber bands, and this beast gives a plenty of character. Yeah, we're not even halfway, and that's what happens. What's interesting about this EQ is that it's got separate boost frequency and gain and separate frequency for cutting. So we cut at 60 and we can try to cut just very gently somewhere around 100, I think. Yeah. And now comes top end, which is really also powerful and very, very good sounding. And you can actually, as with the original Pultec, tweak the Q. Here is narrow, this is broad, and we're gonna keep it really broad. As well, I kept Qs on SSL very broad mastering like. This is Pultec sizzle. It really is. Yeah, the signal is louder, but still there's a lot of life there in this, and I really love it. I think it really sounds better. And then comes Elysia Karacter. There is no better saturation unit in 500 format right now. It's packed up with functions. There's something called fat shred, which is an additional fat circuitry. You can make it turbo boost here, but it works in dual mono, I think. This is stereo link for both channels. And guys, the drive from this we're not going to use that much, and what's really cool about it is this color knob, which is sort of drive density. This one is going to sound a bit more like tape, I would say, and this one sounds like a broken tube, actually, you know, and I'm going to present it to you. I'm gonna definitely go for this color when mastering, because I want to increase the presence of the signal in a soft, consistent, gentle way, let's say. Yeah, and you can probably hear that my top end got a bit dimmer, and I'm gonna retweak rubber bands now. And I'm gonna actually compare it against the dry, or maybe even against the master. No, just against the dry mix. I actually do hear a lot of improvement, my friends. And now let's go into this IGS, and I'm gonna tell you this. This is based on the philosophy and on the architectural logic behind bus compression, but I can hear that it gives more character. It's more alive, it's more moving. I owned STEM SA4K for some time, and it's supposed to emulate the original SSL 400G and E quite faithfully, and this is different. SSL is more transparent, I would say. It's more in the back, while this one, it wants to play. That's what I hear, and let's tweak this now. The next step is fat compression applied to this mix. This is really cool. And I'm gonna tell you this, it's rather smooth, I would say, as for fat 1176 style. It can work very fast, but it maintains a lot of clarity without distorting it really heavily. And on the web, I see the info that it's modeled after input stage is revision G, circuitry is revision D, maybe that's where the smoothness is, and the output stage is revision A, and circuitry is revision D, and that's probably why I suppose it sounds smooth to me. Anyway, let's tweak it in some regular manner. Even when just touching the diodes, you can hear it brings tons of character in terms of sculpting the dynamics. And I actually really love it. Maybe I should just go 4-to-1 instead of more. Yeah, I think to make it sort of bass or mastering like, I would never use 1176 for mastering. But let's say this is it. How does it compare against my original mix? Yeah, I would not use 1176 for mastering purposes, but you know what? Let's switch to bass compression right now with one click. And now let's I think that's it, my friends. And I'm gonna do this. I will render this. I will compare it against my manual mastering. And then we're gonna go for a plugin version. Of course, there's no clipper, there's no limiter. But anyway, I do believe it's gonna be cool to compare these two. Just why is Kirchhoff here? I was looking some spectrum stuff. Anyway, let's take Ulin. Yeah, they are gain matched very well. And now, let's see what we got. Does it even make sense having this analog strip? Whew! I like the new version more. Probably this is my skills improvement over time, but maybe there is some magic in this strip. Anyway, let's listen again. It's more spacious, it's more open, it's more lively. I like the new version more. The only thing I would have to do is to put hard clipper and a very slight limiter to cut off the peaks. That's it, my friends. And I'm genuinely surprised how well it went. And now let's go to the plugin version. And as for the plugin, we're gonna use SSL 400 E channel strip, which is here because there is no ultraviolet VST. There is violet VST with high-low shelf, but this is something else. So let's hope that's gonna be close enough. Then the next step will be simply Purple 3P1 by Acoustica Audio, so my main Pultec emulation. Then I actually downloaded Elysia Karacter, the same 500 emulation that I own. And then let's go for Bus Compressor 2 by SSL. Well, this is the G or bus compressor in the plugin world. And let's try to get the same tone we got here recreated using our plugins. Give me a second. Okay, I gain match them really precisely again, as you can see. And my friends, let's take this final listening test to find out whether this analog thing means anything. Let's go. I think that the plugin version is a tad brighter. What if we just did this? Like half a dB here, like minimum, because I think it was a bit brighter. Anyway, let's take a listen again. I exactly know how to diagnose it. I think that the plugin version is a bit better executed in terms of general tonality and dynamics, because I'm an experienced guy with plugins. I'm not experienced at all with analog 500 format with small knobs and stuff. So I really need to gain experience in this particularly. But not mentioning small differences in favor of the plugins, but coming from my plugin experience purely, I believe. There's more life, there's more movement, and there's more sort of imperfection and truth of some sort, seriously, in the analog world. This S-Type is crazy. It's moving like hell. And I think you can hear it. But generally, there is something really unpredictable with the analog version, while plugin version is very, very clinical and very predictable, I would say. Thus, I do prefer analog version. And I can hear it. I really hope YouTube can transfer this. And it's been a pleasure tweaking this and learning a couple of new things about it. Though the plugins are not too bad. My previous master is also not too bad, but still it's good to revise it after a couple of years. And I am really happy to have this 500 here, because if I gain a bit experience with it, if I spend more time with it, I give it more attention in everyday work, things are going to look good and bright, but not too bright in the high end, of course. Guys, that's it. Whew. Let's sum the things up. That's it. We're there. You know my 500, you know all the secrets. You know how it sounds against plugins. There were a couple of surprises, there were a couple of pleasure moments, let's say. Yeah, and I love it. I really do love it, and it's gonna stay with me for a long time. At least, if not forever. Guys, tell me what you think down below in the comment section. Do you use 500 modules format yourself? Do you use plugins only or any other analog gear? Just let's discuss, and hope to hear from you very, very soon. Take care and bye.